What's the secret to a good rub?
Really depends on the meat, Caitlin, but
Aceholes with Nikki and Caitlin.
Hello and welcome to the Aceholes podcast. I'm one of your Aceholes, Caitlin Komeski.
And I'm one of your Aceholes, Nikki Limo.
And today we are joined by a very special guest. He's got over almost 12 million in live tournament earnings, 8 million in online earnings. He's a BetMGM ambassador. He's an all-around crusher and nice guy. Please welcome to the Aceholes podcast, DARREN Elias.
Thank you, girl.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. Happy to do it.
All the way from New Jersey.
Yep. Back
Did you
here in
just get
Vegas.
here like this week?
Yeah, I was here for like 2 weeks in the beginning of the series, went home for 2 weeks, and now I just got back last night, so I'll stay here through the end.
Nice. That's a lot of travel.
Yeah, I have to break up the series with the kids and the family, where if I'm out here like 2 months straight, I lose my mind, so I always go back and forth.
You're one of those like good dad and good husbands.
I try to be.
Wow.
Good for you.
Wow.
Go off, King, with your
Down with
responsibility. So one of the first things I wanted to ask you about is you recently posted a picture of your daughter at a chess tournament and her mean face. We'll throw that up for everybody who didn't see it yet. She is quite stunningly very competitive, and I was wondering, how did you teach her to play chess? At what age did she start?
I guess I used to play on my phone when she was like 2 or 3, and she would always watch it and kind of like enjoyed it, and then didn't want to play or have anything to do with it for a couple years. And then when she was like 5, she got back into it, and she's like crazy competitive, like brilliant, intense, like kind of a savage with that stuff. So last couple years we've been playing, and she's really into it. So
How old is she now?
6.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So it's interesting. She definitely has like same kind of competitive drive I do, I guess.
Can she beat you?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
It's coming soon though, probably like a year or 2.
I was 7 when I was able to beat my dad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like that was kind of like our game growing up, and then I got bored of it after that.
That's cool
So,
though.
yeah.
Good for you.
Did you use any like curriculums or I know, like there's Chess at 3 for early childhood? I actually worked for that company,
really?
by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, we did do that once. We did a couple lessons with that where they had like analogies of like characters and stuff. Try to
Yeah,
explain
they
the
go
pieces.
story piece by
Yeah,
piece.
we did that for a little bit, and she didn't like it, so then we stopped. And then now she does some lessons like once a week.
That's
Very
really
cool.
cute.
Yeah,
I love that. Is she your oldest?
yeah. She's my oldest. She's 6, and I have a 2-year-old as well.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, I heard that 2 is the hardest amount of kids to have. Is that true for you?
I mean, 2 is hard. I imagine like 5 or 6 would
No,
be
I
really
heard
hard.
so that like, and this is from someone with no kids, so I'm speaking from a lot of experience.
Okay.
But I've heard from my parent friends that 1's like fun, 2's like hard as hell, and then anything after that is like the same as 2.
Oh, okay.
But that's listen, I don't have.
I'll trust them. I think
Listen,
I'm
we
gonna
are
stay at 2.
childless women,
I have
and we
4
don't
cats.
speak for them.
And it is true about cats.
The more.
No, it's the
Like
same.
cat lady?
4 cats is the same as 2.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna stand pat at 2 kids, but
You, you sure?
yeah,
You don't want 4?
I'm good for now.
Okay.
So how's your series going so far? What events have you played? What's going well?
It's been well. I had a big score in a 25K in the beginning of the series, so I played maybe 4 or 5 events my first trip, and got 3rd in the 25K.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was good.
Congrats.
And then went home, and then I just played my first event in the second trip yesterday.
Sweet.
Well, my research revealed that you're just having like an amazing year in general. You final tabled like 3 of the USPO events. What's special about this year?
It's been a good year so far. I guess running well, playing well, and those little like high roller series at the Aria or the Poker Studio are fun. I don't get to play a lot of them, but when I do, I really enjoy them. And just to be able to stay there, play all week against good players, good environment, good tournaments is fun.
So because you travel so much, is there like a routine, like a mindset routine that you do before, like a pre-game ritual or anything? Because traveling and playing seems like it's kind of a toll on your mind.
Oh, for sure. I
Yeah.
try to like get wherever I'm going to be where I play like a day before, try to get some rest. And then when I'm not playing poker, I do try to just like check out like mentally when I go home or something. I'm not thinking about poker for a while. I just like to be with the family, relax, not think about it. And that kind of, it makes me like want to play more when I do come back. Like,
yeah, like you gotta miss it.
Yeah,
have
like,
that
yeah.
balance.
Yeah, yesterday I played like towards the smaller buy-in of what I would ever play, but I was like excited, like hungry to play, where I think if you're just playing every day,
Grinding.
you kind of get tired of it, where it doesn't feel as much fun. So I
So
think,
a 1,500 is as low as it goes. That's the basement for you these days.
yeah, maybe 1,000 I would play, but something around there, 1,000 or 1,500, yeah.
Your 500 and 600 events. That's a no-go.
I think it's a no-go for now,
Too,
yeah.
too big of a field. You've transcended.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't enjoy it that much, and
None of us do.
sometimes you have to play 10-handed. It's play 2-3 days, you make $700 is tough. So nowadays, 1,500, maybe 1,000, something like that.
So when did poker become a job? Because I feel like that's you're kind of touching on when it goes from being a hobby, like a fun game that you play with your friends, to like now you're a grinder. It's your job. It's not as fun. When did it become a job for you? And then how long until you found the balance?
I guess in my early 20s, I was like grinding harder where after college or during college, I was playing a lot online.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if I was like grinding. I was just sitting in my dorm room, like hanging out.
Yeah, no one
playing
thought of
online.
it as grinding back then, I don't think.
But I was very concerned with like having more money, like building a bankroll, trying to play bigger. So that was like my goals back then. And then I guess maybe when I was like 25 or 26, I started to grind less. But I've never been like a big volume player. Like I've always tried to play less, be at my best. I probably only play 60 tournaments a year, which is probably less than most
Definitely,
professionals.
because most professionals, I've heard, that, to beat variance, especially in tournaments, since there's so much variance, they say the only way to beat variance is volume. But you seem to be, the balance factor, I think, is playing in your favor.
Yeah, maybe I run well, but I mean, I'm just happier too when I'm playing less. Where if I'm playing all the time, I could probably make more money by playing more tournaments, but I think my quality of life would be lower. I'd play a little worse, so I'd rather just play less and be at my best.
Definitely. I think protecting your mindset is probably the most important. I actually, speaking of other hobbies, we got a little tip off that you are into creating your own meat rubs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very into the barbecue and smoking meats, mixing my own rubs, that kind of thing. So it's a
lot of
hobby.
meat rubbing.
A lot of meat rubbing. A lot of meat rubbing.
What's the secret to a good rub?
Really depends on the meat, Caitlin. But, pork, you usually want something like sweet, brown sugar, paprika, salt, pepper. If you're doing brisket or beef, probably something more simple, salt and pepper. I mean, you're from Texas. You probably have a good idea, right?
No, I let men smoke my meats for me.
Yeah. The better quality meat, the less rub you need. Like let the meat speak more so than if you have kind of a lower quality piece of meat. Same thing with the steak. You want to put more rub on it, kind of dress it up.
I see. Yeah. Like would you say like the higher fat ones are the worst? I'm a pescatarian, so I have no idea. Would be like the higher fat. How do you judge a quality of meat? I'm sure like maybe people out there that are meat. Maybe this is a dumb question. I'm just curious from the standpoint of someone that doesn't eat meat.
No, there's like different cuts, and like usually like if you go to the grocery store, the more expensive cuts will be the better quality. Like you can get a ribeye or like a fillet. That's a different part of the animal than like a London broil or something where you're like
It's just because it's like more tender.
Yeah, more tender, higher fat, less muscle, things like that.
Okay. Tender, more fat is higher quality. We got it.
So another thing I found in our research is that you have a BA in creative writing.
Yeah.
And that was sort of a thing that you did to maybe appease the parents, and you had already decided at that point you liked poker.
Yeah.
But like, what kind of things were you? I mean, clearly you had to write short stories or poems or something as you were getting this degree. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, in college I was writing. I did do some poetry a little bit. I did like 2 or 3 poetry workshops. I was into fiction. I enjoy reading and writing fiction. So I have like a couple hundred pages, I guess, of like half a novel that I wrote about like a kid who plays cards, like somewhere saved on a computer. So that was kind of my big project when I was in college.
Were you like edgy and dark, like you were reading a lot of Chuck Palahniuk at the time, and you were like greedy,
angsty in college? It was interesting, and I don't know if I'll ever go back and finish it, but I do enjoy writing, and that was kind of the only way I could graduate college, I think, at that point, because I was like traveling so much and playing poker and missing class, and it was easier to do that remote than I was initially like a math and physics major.
Oh, okay, a total opposite of creative writing.
I wanted to work for NASA. I was like really hard math classes, and then kind of drifted away.
Again,
poker.
with the balance though, because you went really, I guess, left brain to right brain.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed math. I mean, helps me out in poker, I guess.
Definitely.
I've had affinity for numbers, probability, that kind of thing. But I also like the creative side of things.
But I think being in touch with your creative side probably puts you more in touch with the intuition, and the intuition helps a lot with poker too. So
definitely, we're playing the Deuce to 7 event yesterday, and that's definitely more of an intuition or like understanding people, creative side of that type of game compared to something like Hold'em, which I guess at this point it's become more technical
Yeah.
and more math related.
How do you feel about that? About like, have you seen like the field really change into a more technical based people that study a lot of solvers, and how has that been different?
And at the highest stakes, it's definitely true. Where I think if you look like a 100K or a 250K, the guys playing these tournaments, they're almost trying to take out the human element of the decisions, where they're randomizing things, they're rolling quote unquote dice to decide their decisions, they're emulating these strategies they've seen on computers. So at the highest stakes, I'd say that's true. At the lowest stakes, obviously, you're still playing people, and you need to like, what is this guy doing? And
Yeah, which is funny because it comes off as the same plays to me. Like when you watch
They end up
it,
looking the
yeah,
same,
if you're
right.
randomizing up here, it's like
Yeah.
super like complex. But then down here, this drunk guy is just like, I made the same play.
yeah, in some world they're doing
Thought
the
that
same
was the
thing.
only way I could win the pot with Ace King there is if I bet it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you kind of came up through the online boom era. You first saw Moneymaker, the accountant that like took his online seat and won. You went through the full tilt days. You won $8 million online. How did you adapt as the environment has changed? And what do you think the biggest changes in poker have been? We were just kind of touching on the solver, but anything else?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started playing live from online, I would say not a very good live player, where I was used to playing a lot of games online, and I wasn't really open to like understanding people, or I just kind of had my headphones on and it was like, I'm gonna beat everybody, I'm better, like a kind of arrogant mentality where I wasn't really.
There's still a lot of those out there.
Oh, for sure. And that hurt me, and then I was probably a little impatient because I was used to playing so many games online, so to sit there and play one slow live game where I didn't do very well live at first when I was playing, and obviously, the game has changed a lot in the last 15 years, just with the advent of computers and simulators, where now we have kind of a better understanding of how strategy should look, like if computers are playing each other, or like the perfect strategy or whatever. So that didn't exist when I first started playing, where you'd get in a tough spot and you'd have to ask a friend, and then, oh, is he right? Like, do we know? Ask another friend, kind of try to figure it out on your own, or figure it out in your own head. So it's a little bit like nowadays, some of these guys in the high rollers, they'll play a hand and then they'll like type in the computer real fast or ask somebody.
Yeah.
It's like math class where like checking the back of the book to see the answer. Like I don't love that part of the game, and I think that's a lot of people go wrong, I think, in trusting the computer, where that might not actually be an accurate representation of what's happening. So
Yeah, absolutely, because that's a computer playing a computer. But when you're actually playing a human being who has 250,000 of a buy-in on the line, like, are they going
to take this spot?
Yeah,
with
are they going to
those
take that
hands?
spot?
I think the best players at the highest stakes really still have that human element and understand a lot of the other things going on. So
That's great. I'm glad that that's still there.
yeah, definitely.
And we were talking right before about how we've all three experienced in this World Series how just like nobody wants to fold anymore.
Yeah.
Like you just have to have it so much more. I feel like a few years ago you could still kind of like bulldoze through a few people every now and then and just like aggression your way to more victories. But these days you got to be patient. You got to be locked in because mommies and daddies are calling.
I think definitely, especially in the WSOP where people are flying out from all over the country, and a lot of them, even like in the $600, $1,000 events, it's just a lot for them to even come out and pay for the hotel and all of the experience and stuff. So there are some people, and you can just watch them, they're scared to bust, and you can play the player. But yeah, for the most part, there's like people will look you up light.
Yeah.
I think.
They didn't fly out here to fold, right?
Yeah, exactly. Can't win if you fold.
And like a human reaction, it's also like more satisfying to like call and get to see the cards than fold and be wondering, like sleeping in your bed at night. Oh, did he bluff me? Like, people,
Did I come all the way out here?
Yeah. At least they call, they lose their money, they sleep good at night.
Yeah.
Or win their money if they found your bluff.
There you go. I've had so many people at my tables be like, I'm just happy to min cash. I just want to make. They say it. They say it out loud.
Yeah.
They're on the bubble. They're like, I folded ace king there.
So you are a BetMGM ambassador, and you're in pretty good company as a BetMGM ambassador. They have Jamie Foxx, Vanessa Hudgens, Kevin Garnett, like other major NBA players.
Yeah, I fit right in with that crew.
Yeah,
100%. Like, so are
gamblers.
you a sex symbol A-lister now is basically the question. No, tell us about your work with BetMGM. And
Yeah, I do, I guess, consulting with them where I'm helping them build tournaments and schedules, formats, structures for online events where we have markets in New Jersey, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, also Ontario, and I think we're looking to expand in other states. With the U.S., there's the regulation, and their states are coming on one by one. So it's a battle getting these states online and getting online poker going. But also at BetMGM now we have these live events. Like we had this Summer Classic at the Aria, big turnout last month. So working with the properties and online, trying to like connect all the dots and get BetMGM to be a big poker brand in the United States, which they want to be, which is fun. It's good working with them. They have a lot of passion for poker. Not all casinos or companies share that, where some people put poker on the back burner. BetMGM is willing to invest, which I like. And also having all these properties across the country is amazing. The Aria, Borgata, like they have a lot of resources in that regard.
That's really cool. And, you know, they run like they run a lot of events during the year. At the
MGM National Harbor coming up.
Mm-hmm. And there's isn't there they do an international one too?
I'm not sure. Definitely National Harbor, I think, is coming up in August.
And then there's a Borgata anniversary event that Will O'Connor title senior poker manager of marketing poker manager marketing and senior manager is the senior poker market. We're very proud of your work that you do, Will. Thanks for watching,
Mr. President.
And your mustache is nice.
So, BetMGM had, like, obviously Vanessa Hudgens isn't part of the poker part, but like, is there like is there a plan with like bringing all of you ambassadors together?
Wow, that would really be something.
Right?
Yeah, hopefully it's a cash game.
Yeah, because
I
would watch.
Yeah, no plans yet, but I mean, there could be something in the works, and they always have access to like athletes too, where they have like BetMGM sponsors, like golfers or baseball players.
Oh, that's cool.
That Aria event, I was at the table with Jason Kipnis, who's a baseball player for like 10 years, and he was a nice guy, and just learning poker. But you see a lot of people like that have they've been doing something competitive their whole life, sports or whatever it is, and they're kind of done with that chapter, and they still want a competitive outlet, so they turn to poker. So it's fun to see those people.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
As an ambassador for a brand and for poker in general, do you feel a pressure to show up to the table a certain type of way? And if so, how do you deal with that pressure?
I don't know if I feel any pressure. I'm generally pretty happy when I'm playing poker, regardless. So it's been easy for me. Like if someone wants to talk with me or ask questions or tell me bad beats or whatever, if I'm at the poker table and I'm at a tournament, I'm like willing, as long as it's early or we're not deep in a big tournament. Like I've always been willing to engage with people. And the one thing I'm not used to is like getting complaints where like I'll get DMs. I'll just like get people complaining about random stuff.
Really?
Like little things.
They complain to you?
Yeah, like I don't know if I'm customer service or whatever it is. But
you do look kind of customer servicey.
Adjusting to that has been interesting, but I don't feel any pressure to behave a certain way or anything like that.
So you can just go on full tilt and just...
I could just rage.
Yeah, just rage at someone.
Have you thrown a table yet this year?
Not yet. You know, maybe rip some cards or...
yeah.
What does it take to get you off your rocker at the table? Like, or do you have any pet peeves? Or it's like, if somebody berates the dealer over something, like what gets your gears going?
That might trigger me. Like someone going after a dealer. Slow play and stalling always annoys me, which you see a lot in the events. So that you can clock people, or... shooting angles annoys me too. If I see someone shoot an angle, especially against a recreational player, I might say something that might get me a little upset.
Are you seeing those at any type of regularity in the bigger events?
Not really.
What type of angles are still showing up these days? Let's help the people. Let's warn them.
I haven't seen too many recently. I guess we were in deuce to 7 yesterday, so thinking about a deuce game where a player might get called on the end and spread his hand confidently. And if you're playing against maybe an older player, someone across the table who can't see, and you have a pair or a straight or something, I think that's a little scummy or a little angly. So something like that, I would speak up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not there to trick people. I don't think in that regard.
What if someone just keeps 3-betting you? Do you think they're bullying you, or do you think that?
That doesn't really trigger me. I mean, anything with like strategy or part of the game.
Does that trigger you?
No, not at all. That doesn't happen to me. No, that doesn't get me going. I just wanted to know about from Darren's perspective.
You're allowed to 4-bet. You're allowed to fight back. Fight back against bullies.
No, I feel like angling and angle shooting is a big topic of conversation because like a lot of people have concluded that Cabral came under a lot of fire under the the high roller event that happened, the 250K.
Yeah.
And sort of where the conversation's at now is it's like, okay, I don't think he was marking cards. We don't think he was cheating, but was he pretending to cheat?
Should it be
And
allowed
is
that you can
an
pretend to cheat?
angle?
Yeah.
And even that, like, even if it's not an angle, just the way he carries himself at the table and the slow play and the stalling discourages a lot of players from entering next year, especially recreational players where they had a bad experience. They didn't like him taking 30 seconds every hand, asking their stack on every street. Like, that's annoying to a recreational player. And if they come back and don't play next year and don't have fun playing poker, that's kind of a net negative.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that.
Yeah. And I mean, he's not the only player that got that criticism. I mean, Dan Smith and Jason Kuhn got into a little bit of a tiff at a Triton table over Dan, you know, sort of shutting down conversations or being a little too slow at the table.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the situation and who you're playing against, what the event is, what the spot is, how big of a spot it is, and like, I mean, in poker, you're not always going to have like complete silence when you're making a big decision, even at the highest stakes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to be willing to deal with a little bit of background noise, but yeah, that was a tough one.
So you were playing Deuce to 7 with Caitlin last night.
I wasn't playing with her. We were in
Not
the
at the
same
same
event.
table.
But,
Oh, okay. Same event.
Yeah.
Thank God,
Maybe
different
today,
tables.
you never know.
Please don't eliminate me.
They're both
I
on a
need
date
money.
two. That was their way of
Day two today.
flexing. They're flexing their date twos. But would you say what's your favorite poker game? Is it like a mixed game or is it the 2-card hold'em?
I mean, I really only play this game we're playing now, single draw, and 2-card hold'em. Like, those are the only games I play like
Regularly?
competitively,
Okay,
like, for
okay.
a lot of money. And I prefer single draw. Like that game's a lot of fun to me. Maybe because I play less, but it's a pure form of poker, and you're really playing against the people. And it comes down to a lot about what people are about, their tendencies, and less about like, I block less about the board and that kind of thing, and more like, is this guy bluffing me in this hand? Is this lady bluffing me? Can I bluff her? Like that kind of thing.
Oh, that's fun. So
Yeah.
you get to use more of your right brain creative
Yeah.
writing side.
And if you ever want to like go off and just bluff, you can just say, "Oh, I'm Pat. I'm all in." And,
Yeah.
like, you can't really do that and hold them as much. So there are a lot of opportunities to
The
be creative.
best spot I had to snow yesterday was I had deuces full of 5s. I know, right?
Did you do
Great
it?
snowing hand. Well, no, because I was under the gun and
What's
it
snow
was.
mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say. you
Okay,
might
so
have to,
snowing is bluffing in deuce 7. If you have like a bunch of wheel cards in your hand, then you can just, it was the situation he's describing where you can pat and say, I don't want to draw anything, and act like you were dealt like a
really
really
monster.
strong
Oh,
hand.
okay.
Like a 7 high and 8 high, these hands that you would just like pat and jam. And, I didn't take it. The only reason I didn't is because I was under the gun. I was first to act, and then it was the previous year's champion's blind,
didn't
and
want
I
it
didn't think he
snow?
was. I didn't think he was gonna let me get away with it.
Yeah, I had a hand, I guess, a couple years ago at the final table, and against Prahlad Freeman in deuce to 7, and I was snowing him, and then I patted, I made a big bet, and then he starts going to the speech like, "Oh, it doesn't snow much in Vegas," and it ends up being like best hero call of the year. They make like a clip out of it. So snowing, while it does seem like a good idea and it's fun, I don't know. I can't get away with it too often in my face.
No, and I don't think I can either. Like, I don't think anybody can. Like we said, everybody just likes to call an MTT.
Yeah.
They got in their car, they booked a hotel. They're not gonna let you get away with your shit.
Yeah, I think it's so funny too that you mentioned that where like they clipped the like best hero call of the year or
Like
whatever.
posterized,
Yeah, because I feel so bad. I forget who it was that was talking about how they keep playing clips in Paris
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
the main event clips.
And like if you lost a big hand, like you just have to watch yourself lose again and again and again and
Yeah.
again.
I love all those classic. I wish
I
that
enjoy
like
it, too.
that sometimes when they
Yeah,
just
me
put
too.
the ads on the loop and sorry Kinda, I love you and your bobblehead and you
We
look
love you, Kinda.
gorgeous. Thank you Kinda. But like I prefer when they have the
hands.
the classic
Yeah.
ESPN coverage. Like that's when, I don't know about y'all, but that's when I fell in love with poker.
Definitely.
Is those days there's like Jen Harmon,
Yes.
Phil Hellmuth, like the
Absolutely,
classics.
Yeah.
those are way more fun to watch than anything.
Yeah,
No,
the
I was
older ones.
fangirling over Barry Greenstein yesterday. I was
I
like,
love
you're Barry
him.
Greenstein. And one of the mixed game guys was like, I can introduce you to him whenever you want. And I was
Oh, he's
like,
at your table or is that your game?
he was at the other table, and I like asked somebody else. I was like, "Is that Barry Greenstein?" And he was like, "Yeah, I can introduce you if you want."
I will say though, like, there's still some characters. Like, Cuz was at the table right next to me on my day one of the Salute to Warriors, and he was just, he's just such a character, going off every 2 seconds about
he's
something.
really something. I think the first time I played with Cuz, I was at Borgata and I had like 10 out of 10 hangover. And I was directly next to Cuz, and he's just yelling at me all day.
My
yelling
God.
in my ear. And it's funny to see him have all this success last year. And I mean, he's an East Coast character for sure. Where
No,
he's
definitely
a
just
legend.
right out of a movie or
Like a
cartoon. Yeah,
character,
cartoon.
like the New York
So
guy.
it's him and Will Kasufa at a table together.
I might have to blind out, and that's never. I think I have to take a walk. I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah, no, it's fun to, watch poker like that where it's almost like you're watching TV characters and not.
Yeah, especially the old
Yeah,
ones. I find
yeah.
myself almost like getting distracted. I'm like looking over the screen, watching this hand from
Yeah.
like 15 years ago. I'm like, oh, it's on you. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry.
I'm watching the reruns.
Yeah.
No, and like some of the hands they're showing up with are just like bizarre. It's like a classic hand. It's like ace 7 off is going all in into ace 9 off on jack 3 7 4
Yeah.
or whatever.
The
And I'm
longer
just
you
like,
go back,
what are they doing?
I think that's where we're gonna go full circle though, like where the solver's telling two people to randomize these two hands, and they just end up doing that.
I feel like there used to be a lot more just like pissing contests.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially back in the day, like they didn't understand ICM as well, where you'd see a lot more like big punts at final tables for a lot of money. Shout out Joe Chong. Speaking of A7, but the longer you go back, the more you're going to see of that stuff. Where nowadays they understand better that you can't have pissing contests for millions. Generally, sometimes
We
still
should though.
They should have an
Bring
event
pissing
that's just
contest
called the
back.
pissing contest event, and it's just like who swings their dick the highest.
There's one more thing I wanted to ask you about. So you're one of the few poker players with a Wikipedia page. And that is just very helpful for people trying to interview you. So thank you to whoever made Darren Elias's Wikipedia page. You're a gem and a treat, and that's a great jumping off point for me. But one of the fun facts on that Wikipedia page that I want to ask you about is that you were a beach lifeguard at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina Beach.
Yep.
That's true?
That is true. That is a fact. I was into swimming and water polo. I played in college and in high school, and it was kind of, I guess, natural. A lot of us lifeguarded as jobs. So then we kind of, our high school crew, we all got jobs at the same beach, lived together in Myrtle Beach, would lifeguard all day, go out at night. So that was a good time.
They're kind of like having a poker house, but just a
Except
lifeguard
I was
is
the
a
only
lifeguard
one,
house.
I was the only one playing poker. I'd come back from work and I'd play like $20 tournament online or something.
that's
but
fun.
they're all going out partying or whatever.
So this is when you're like 18, 19 years old?
Yeah, it was, I guess when I was like freshman, sophomore in college. I think my last year I was probably 21 or 22. I did it 3 or 4 years, but definitely you see some interesting things Myrtle Beach in the summer. And,
Yeah, are there like a lot of hot babes on that beach, or is it more just like golfing buddies building sandcastles together? Like,
a lot
what's
of the golfing
landscape?
buddy crew. There's some families. It really depends where you are on the beach.
Are there sharks?
There are some sharks occasionally, and there's nothing like the one of them. I mean, no one ever got attacked by a shark, so I can say this safely. But
Yeah.
The protocol was to run up if you're the lifeguard and you see it and yell "shark." And there's nothing
pretty
like
intuitive.
seeing grown men just knocking kids out of the way, like running onto the shore. So that was some of my favorite moments as a lifeguard. And like jellyfish stings are always funny. So,
Oh yeah, what'd you do with that? Because
you have like a bottle of vinegar and you'd spray them, and
Okay.
then you get kids where like one kid gets stung and the other one's like they think it's cool to get stung, so they're like, oh yeah, I got stung, and they're like just chafing, and you're like spraying them down with
God.
vinegar and it's making it worse. So you get a lot
kids
of
peeing on each other because they hear the.
you see everything out there.
I actually got stung by a Portuguese man o' war when I was younger.
Me too. Shut up.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are deadly. Like
Aren't
if
those
they
the ones
wrap.
that can kill you?
Yeah, but so luckily, like if they wrap around you, you die for sure. But like it just brushed against my leg, and so just that alone like created huge welts, and it was in Hawaii. and what they used was meat tenderizer.
That's
Stop
what.
it.
Yeah. Did they?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was in Florida on Delray Beach, and I got stung by a man-o-war on the chest, and I just remember screaming and how badly it burned.
Yeah.
I was like 9 or 10 years old, but it's really painful.
Why do we have the same past?
It's really scary, and I don't like
Yeah,
it
it's
sometimes.
weird.
This is one of those times I don't like
we
it.
have a
But
lot of similar things in
I
our
see
past,
that,
which is,
yeah.
but
It's
this is
really
like
creepy.
so.
The meat tenderizer.
Very-
That's
the
interesting.
Rolly backpack one was the one that really
No,
freaked
but
me
we
the
were
hell
opposite
out.
on that though.
True.
I made fun of your kind, but
Well, you have scoliosis now, so deal with it,
it's
bitch.
true. Yeah, so meat tenderizer.
They put a spice rub on there too. you know?
Yeah, well,
I'm
it
sure that
depends on
felt
the
great.
meat.
Well,
It-
I'm more pork
I was
based,
on the
so they use
thigh.
brown
I was
sugar.
the thigh, so it was like you just need a little salt and pepper, high fat, very tender.
little honey.
Yeah.
Do you think that you could still be an effective lifeguard? Like, do you
Oh,
think?
sure, yeah.
Like, if you had to be a lifeguard,
It's a little bit like poker, where it's hours and hours of waiting, and then maybe something exciting happens. And you don't really want it to happen, but very little like actual like rescuing or
Yeah.
swimming, things like
Did you
that.
ever rescue anybody?
Yeah, I had a couple rescues. Yeah.
Like you saved their life?
I don't know if I'd go that far. I pulled in some people that were like going out to sea on a raft. I towed them in.
Okay.
Like there's an undertow.
Is there,
or whatever.
yeah, I was gonna say like an undercurrent or something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
towed them in. I don't know if they would have died out there.
Did you ever deal with a red current or?
What is that?
That's kind of similar.
Is that blood? Blood in the water?
No, it's algae.
Oh,
But
we
it's
didn't
red. So I grew up in a beach town in Santa
Oh, okay.
Barbara. My dad's a surfer, so he always he taught me what to do. And
Mm-hmm.
that happened to me once. I was out there on a boogie board, and it was like I was getting taken out past the buoy, and he taught me like you swim to the side. Swim all the way to the side and then come in.
You have to go around it,
You have to go
right?
around
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
that
but
makes
people
sense.
panic, especially if they don't have a boogie board.
Yeah,
If
and then you
they're-
fight and you
Yeah,
get tired
and then
and
you
then you
get tired.
drown. That's kind of the protocol, yeah.
And then you drown.
The scariest thing, I guess, we had a guy have a heart attack just like walking down the beach, just literally dropped dead.
no.
Where I ran over there, took his pulse, dead.
Scary.
And we started doing CPR, mouth to mouth, compressions. And we're just like 19-year-old kids, like we're scared out of our mind trying to do this.
Yeah.
And this lady comes running up like, I'm an ER nurse, like blasts me out of the way. And I'm like, okay, please, you do it.
mama,
And
you
I
work.
was sitting there, and she brought him back to life. And he's 15 minutes later, like trying to go back swimming. They're like, sir, you were dead. Like the ambulance needs to take you and
Damn.
like check you. And that was probably the most intense thing.
That's so cool that you feel like you could still be a lifeguard. Like if the call came in and they were like, "We need a lifeguard," and you'd
Are
be
there
like,
any
"Are
lifeguards on the
there any lifeguards on this airplane?" And you're like, "Man."
If poker doesn't work out, I can always fall back on the lifeguarding.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put that to the test now in a game we like to call Lifeguard Quiz.
Oh my gosh.
You are going to be competing with Nikki in
Okay.
a game I call Lifeguard Quiz. Now, you have a big edge in this game because a lot of these questions revolve around the public beach rules in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
It's very
Stop
specific
it.
kind of quiz.
Yeah.
Very
I
specific
might
kind
have a
of
chance
quiz.
with that kind
They
of
don't even
work.
have red tide there.
I'll throw you some Santa Barbara freebies, maybe.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, you've got a big edge in this game, so we really expect you to take out the victory.
Are we on a team or we're going against
No,
each
you're
other? here?
against
Oh, we're
You
enemies?
are my
You're
enemy.
competing with her. I also want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Poker Night in America and Studio 52. We are broadcasting from the beautiful Studio 52 here in Las Vegas, where they shoot Poker Night in America. We're going to give you a little tour of the beautiful amenities inside, and we hope you join us on Poker Night in America. All right, back to Lifeguard Quiz.
Yeah.
All right, Darren, here's your first question. If I want to use fireworks on the beach in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, what 2 requirements must I fulfill?
Oh my goodness. You might need a permit. Is that one of them?
A permit is one of them.
This is tough.
Well, it's
No
really
hits.
hard to make beach rules challenging, but I
You
did
need
my
a
best.
permit, and it has to be at night. It has to be after a certain time.
No, you need to have a supervisor present. Supervisor present.
Do I get half credit, half point?
You get a half a point for one of
still
the
ahead.
2 requirements. All right, Nikki.
Yes. I'm ready.
Is alcohol allowed at the beach? Public Myrtle
Classic.
No.
Correct.
Yeah.
Alcohol is not
That is
allowed at
correct.
Myrtle Beach. Keep it at home.
Not allowed in Santa Barbara either.
Frequently used. I mean, as long as I don't see it. Keeping the cooler,
Yeah.
you're good. It's
We
kind
don't
of
talk about that. We
I'm
don't
sorry,
talk
I
about
thought
sorry.
you were a good lifeguard.
No, you just
I
turn
didn't
the other.
care
That
about
is being a
people.
good
Yeah,
lifeguard,
He's
right?
my favorite
Oh my gosh.
lifeguard. He's my
I
favorite
want
Don't
people-
lifeguard.
look the other way, lifeguard.
I want people to have fun out there.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Darren. From
Beach
what
Rex.
day of the year? From what day of the year to what day of the year are dogs and bicycles allowed on the beach at all times?
Oh my gosh, this is going to be off season. I guess I'm going to go September to April.
Labor Day through April 30th. I'm going to give you credit for that because it was such a specific and hard
nice.
question. I really thought he was going to struggle more on these.
Yeah. Why are you
still- it
struggling?
comes back to me,
you
you know?
can still be a lifeguard. What the heck?
Prove myself.
Damn
you know?
it. Well,
I'm trying to win this
The
thing.
questions get harder. All right, Nikki, your second question.
Let's go, Nick.
Are glass containers allowed on
That's
the
a
beach?
layup.
No.
Come on.
No. No. But why do I find sea glass everywhere? I collect it.
Yeah. Are nuclear weapons allowed on the beach? It's like, come on.
Yes.
Come on, Darren. This is a very fair quiz. I don't want to
Okay,
hear
let's go.
any more guff about Nikki's questions being easier.
Mine are hard.
Yeah.
Give me the next one.
Fucking lock in. I don't want any tilt here.
Okay. I'm rattled.
Okay.
I think I got a half point more than you.
Yeah, I'm rattled.
Third question. Within 6 inches, Darren, what is the longest a dog leash can be
Oh, God.
in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina public access beaches?
60 inches.
7 feet is the correct answer.
Ooh,
She was just-
you were
the
off
numbers
by
were
12
crunching
inches.
there.
I had to do 60 divided by 12. I was like, 6 divided by 12 is
I was
5.
close
Okay.
too. Damn it.
All right. So no points for that. Nikki.
Yes.
Within 1.5 feet,
Yes.
what is the widest diameter an umbrella can be?
Oh, that's a cool question.
The widest. What's the widest that would
You gotta
not
picture
tilt
the
me?
umbrella.
I would say diameter or radius? Diameter?
Diameter.
Okay.
All the way across. We're having fun with geometry today.
I would say the widest is 10 feet.
You overshot
That's a
it.
little big.
7 feet. 7 feet
All right,
is
all
the
right.
widest
I
diameter
just threw that one in.
umbrella
Yeah.
you can have in Myrtle Beach.
I definitely
South
remember
Carolina.
specifically asking people to take down the umbrellas, and we'd always go over there together, and people get mad.
Yeah.
It was like around the time Super Troopers came out, and we would do like the meow thing. We'd just be
Yes!
like meowing at
Meow,
people.
yeah.
Meow, sir, I have to
Yeah.
ask you to take down your umbrella. So we were meowing the hell out of the umbrella people.
Sorry, are you saying meow?
Am I saying meow?
I thought.
Don't think, boy. Meow, do you know how fast you were going? Meow, what is so damn funny?
You have a good name, meow.
We see how many you get in. Yeah.
From May 1st through Labor Day, what time period of the day are dogs allowed?
I think it's in the mornings. So is it? I'll say before 9 a.m. and after 5.
You were so close. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
But wrong still. But still wrong.
I'll give you half a point. I'll give you half a point.
He's really just giving you some.
I'm
like,
not really
sugar
keeping
points,
score
yeah.
that
Yeah.
closely anyway. So I like how
This is important, Caitlin. What the heck?
Sorry. It's 2 to 1.5.
Very serious.
All right.
I think I'm still I think we're tied now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nikki's equally as hard question. Is littering allowed?
Oh God.
Before 10 a.m., after 5 p.m.
I'm gonna go with no.
Correct.
Yes.
Littering is not allowed in
rigged.
Myrtle.
This is rigged.
Sweating that. It's not allowed in Santa Barbara.
Hey, keep it together, Darren. No getting angry. These are equally fair questions.
Yeah.
Seething.
All right,
I'm just
next
better at
question.
this game.
Now I'm going to give you a real world scenario. We're going to do a little bit of an act out.
Okay.
I am going to be a mother whose child is lost, and you have to handle the situation.
I thought
Okay.
you were gonna
Are you
have
ready?
to do CPR
Okay.
on you. I was like, that is.
I just met you, Caitlin.
Caitlin, no.
No, I
like,
told
please.
not again. I told you not
No,
again.
sorry. Okay. Let me get into character.
Okay.
My baby's lost. I can't find my child. He was just right there. I don't know where he went.
Ma'am, how old is he? How old is he?
He's 4. He's
my-
just
oh my
a
gosh.
baby. He's got asthma. If he
Oh.
doesn't get his inhaler,
got
where's my
asthma.
baby?
What's his name?
Chad.
And when's the last time you saw him?
Maybe like 20 minutes ago. I just turned to get my wine spritzer and he's gone.
That's not allowed on the beach.
There's no alcohol on the beach.
It
Just
wasn't in a glass container. They told me you were a cool lifeguard that would look the other way if I put it in a tumbler. Where's my baby?
Oh, ma'am, just hang tight. We're going to call the lifeguards. We're going to find your Chad.
That's pretty good.
That was
That's pretty
good.
Full point awarded.
Yeah, I'd have been like, I'm kind of a bitch, and I'd be like, why are you getting mad with me? Yeah. Like when my husband stays really calm, I'm like, hey, but be mad with me.
The lost kid thing happened a lot, and I mean, it's scary, but as a lifeguard, you always want to be the one who
stay
has
calm.
the kid, because sometimes you get the kid who's lost. Like you don't, the parent's always hysterical like
yeah.
that. But if you have the kid,
He's just picking
and
his
then you
nose,
find the
and
parents,
he's like, I don't know, my mom was
yeah,
somewhere.
the kid's chill, and then you're the hero too. You show up with
Yeah.
the kid, and they like get reunited.
Oh,
It's
that's
like the
sick.
YouTube video.
You like get to hold him up.
You
like,
want to have the kid, not the parent.
All right, now equally hard question for Nikki.
Yeah.
Are fires allowed on the beach?
You don't allow bonfires? That's
in Santa
sucks.
Barbara.
That's sucky beach. They're not allowed, but we did them anyway. I'm gonna go with no.
Correct.
All right.
Full point awarded.
Let's
I'm
go.
drawing dead. I'm drawing dead.
I don't get an act out
Yeah,
of a
you
fire.
don't get the hysterical drunk mom.
Oh, okay.
I put a lot of thought into the order in which
Okay.
I made
I trust you. I'm excited.
All right, Darren. I'm now going to be a shark, and you're going to have to fend off my attack.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. That was really
I'm just
scary.
kidding. I'm just kidding. That was
Came
just
out of nowhere. I didn't
All right.
see a fin.
All right. Okay? So you did jump, but you remained calm. So I'll give you half a point
there,
for that.
yeah.
I'll give you half.
How
a
dare
point
you
for
jump
that.
at a shark?
Just fended it off.
Yeah, that's you're supposed to stay calm at all
I
times.
felt
Portuguese man of war.
I felt his fear. Half a point. All right, Nikki. Now you are going to comfort an old man whose wife has waded out into the water. She looks fine to you, but he wants you to go rescue her. Okay. You ready?
Okay.
Mayor, excuse me, my wife she's right out on the shoreline. She said she thinks she can handle it, but she can't. She can't. It's too deep out there. You gotta go get her. She's too deep into the water.
It's all right. She's at 3 feet.
You
deep.
shut your mouth,
Oh my
woman. You
gosh.
saved my wife. She is in peril.
I'm sorry.
Help me.
Okay.
Help me.
Yes. Sorry. Alcohol's not allowed on the beach.
But
sir.
I thought you were one of them cool lifeguards that looked the other way if I
Nope.
put it in a tumbler.
You're under arrest.
That seems fair. I'll go peacefully. All right, excellent.
She's a little reluctant there. I don't know. I don't know if she gets any points.
I
She didn't want to make the
nailed
save.
It.
Pull the lady out.
She's in 3 feet of water.
She was still standing.
There was a red current.
You don't have
It's
those.
true.
That's true. All right, Darren, what is the earliest you can start setting up your items at the beach?
8 a.m.
Nailed it. Yes.
Hire me. Hire me.
All right, now an equally hard question for Nikki. If I was drowning, would you attempt to save me?
What time is it?
8 a.m.
It's really early. Yeah. I'd do it.
Half point there.
No, she gets the full
Oh,
point.
okay.
All right, Darren.
Crushing
I know,
this,
I'm getting
this
ready.
tournament. This
Tournament.
It's heads
It's
up
heads up.
tournament.
It's a heads
Yeah,
up
go
event.
ahead in the game, Darren. We don't tilt in this family.
Yeah.
All right, Darren. What is the latest you can start taking down your items at the beach?
5 p.m.
7 p.m. is
Trying
the
to shut
correct
down my party
response.
early.
Yeah, it's true.
And now a finally equally hard question. Final question for Nikki. Is the beach fun?
This is really controversial, but I'm gonna go with yes.
That is correct.
Yes.
It's just a yes or
Yes!
no correct on that one.
I beat the lifeguard. I think I'm
It's
pretty
unbelievable.
sure.
I'm filing protest.
I was like actually blown away by how much
you
of
got
these,
right.
I'm
like,
surprised I
these
remember
public
any of that.
beach rules that you're still locked in on.
Yeah.
They could hire you tomorrow. So BetMGM, start shaking in your boots because your guy's got options.
You can bet on
He's got options.
Darren Elias, pro lifeguard.
The return tour.
The
Myrtle Beach.
return. You come out with merch first.
Yeah.
Even though those were really equal questions.
They were very equal and fair.
Yeah.
Congratulations. on
You had a
your
huge
tournament
edge in the
victory.
game too.
GG.
GG. It
Yeah,
happens.
maybe next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Study up.
You got to keep the Rex having fun.
Yeah.
As long as you had a good
cars
time.
just went my
as
way
long as you had a
then.
good time.
Well, anyway, Darren, thank you so much for joining us here on Aceholes. We hope you had a very pleasant time. I'm glad you didn't go on tilt. You remained very calm. We wish you the best with all the MGM,
Thank
Bet
you.
MGM poker stuff. It sounds like you guys are going to be building a lot, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the very near future. Hope to see you at a final table someday. Probably at a high roller, because that's definitely how I roll. And maybe I'll rail you guys on your deuce to seven.
Yeah, maybe we'll be
Yeah,
at the
meet you at
final
the final
table
table.
tomorrow.
100%. That's a lot.
Is there anywhere they can find you that maybe they can check you out?
Oh, sure.
Check out
Twitter,
your meat rubs and
Twitter, Instagram, social media, Wikipedia, whatever. I'm out there.
Wikipedia.
Yeah. Thank you,
Y'all, we
ladies.
need to get in on our boy and beef up his page again. If
Oh,
y'all got
God.
some Darren Elias facts, you
Make
get
some
your
edits.
editor
I
hat
don't know if
out.
I want
Yeah.
to see that. They're going to troll me. But thank you, ladies. This is fun. Good luck to you guys, too.
Thank you.
Really serious.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, toes with Nikki and hey,